decisions have been made. I am going to start by filling in this open section completely to match the other side before continuing with the wheel well. First thing we have to do is cut this farther back to where it's flat. This is the same panel that I put on the other side. I just traced a copy of it, so I'm going to have to cut that out. But that's where we're going to start. So on this side, I am following the pattern I established on the other side. So much so that I actually went back and watched my own video to see all the steps I'd taken so that I could just follow those. So, I've got the prettying patch in there. So the next part is to sort of bridge the gap between the two parts of the Tallhoe. I have these two pieces here. And they go in This is incredibly difficult one-handed. So that goes in something like that. And then this panel will go in something like that and be welded all the way around. This piece will be welded up across and down the back side to strengthen all of that. Then I will be ready for the panel that actually comes and fills in this section. So I'm going to get those welded in, and we'll bring you back when we've got everything ready for figuring out the next step. So we've got that all welded in. So that structure is all in there, nice and tight. All right, we've got the next couple of filler panels fabbed up, ready to go in. So let's take a look at those. There's just a little filler panel right there because for whatever reason I stopped really short. So I've got that tiny piece, and then we've got that curve sweeping up. And unfortunately, I was off a little bit on my measurements, so this piece actually leaves a big old gap. So I'm going to have to cut that off and just weld a new strip onto the top. But overall, really, I'm just continuing to follow the recipe that I came up with over when I built that side over there. So I'm skipping a lot of the detail work. I know I'm just kind of showing you chunks as I go, which is a little bit different than what I have been doing. But I will throw a link in the description for the other video. If you really want to see the in-depth figuring out how all these steps are going to work, the other video does go over all of those details. So I'm going to get that chunk cut off and a new piece welded in. Probably get these two pieces tacked together so that everything is ready to go in as one piece. I've got to drill some spot weld holes, and then we'll be ready for install. That piece is fully installed. So we are now completely done with the door sill, except for some grinding, of course, but we're now basically done with the entire door sill here on the passenger side as well. So that means I think I'm ready to turn my attention back to the wheel well. This side of the Travelall, when I built this rear quarter here on the passenger side, I ended up trying to make this all pretty much a smooth round. The other side has a much better shape to it, more like the Dakota, but overall just naturally better looking. It comes down and then drops back down. So I am going to cut this and try to see if I can give that a little bit more of an attractive shape that also more closely matches what we've got on the other side. Changing the shape from a smooth curve to having that kind of step in it, which you can see I cut there, totally warped up this panel. I had too much metal in it all over the place. So, all the welding you see here is what I hope will prove to be a semi-effective manner of heat shrinking the areas that needed to be reduced. This may instead prove to be a total fiasco and screwing myself over. But, nevertheless, this is what I'm trying. I'm going to grind those back, do a little bit of hammering, see where we land. You can see these dark lines. There's a bunch of welding in there to try and tighten this all up, and it did help. It did work. It pulled it down flatter for sure. But in the end, it was still just the shape of this to the shape of this. There's too much metal in the wrong place. So I've got a cut here now that's allowed me to get this much, much closer to the shape of the driver's side that I liked. So I just need to weld this up, fit these two nicely as I go, and grind that back, and then fix this gap that I put in here, and I kind of cracked the fender a little here. So I've just got to fix all of those details, and then we'll be back to where we were when I started playing with this fender, but we'll be ready to move on. Alright, so we've got that welded some of what's under here, welded up where I'd torn it, but I still have to fill in that inner edge anyway. And it looks pretty good. I don't think it's exactly what I want, but I also think I've reached a point of diminishing returns. I keep pushing harder. I'm afraid I'm just really going to screw something up, whereas so far I've managed to mostly avoid that. So, finishing up other things I never got done over here. I never completely welded the underside of this here. I'm going to just cut that back, add in a little 1/2-inch section there. And I actually think I have to turn it down a little extra because that's another thing I have not done back here is turn down the flange, and I've got to make sure that this flange is turned back far enough I can line it up with all of this metal here. Well, we basically finished grinding that down. There's still some work under there. I just kind of got sick of it because it sucks to grind under there. And then went ahead and turned down a flange to match the other side. I turned the flange down the same way I did on the other side, which is I just took a piece of flat stock and cut a slash into it. I put some weld across the back of this one because it was bending really easily. and then just slipping that over the edge and prying on it, and then just working your way down, slowly bending it all the way down. And then here over the exhaust pipe where I didn't have that option, I just used a pair of pliers and slowly bent it manually. And it's not perfectly straight. Right here in particular kicks down a little bit deeper than the others, so I'll just have to, after the fact, come along and trim it. Next step, I have rust all the way back to here. So I'm going to just put in a piece that runs just this back section. Plus, originally, the Travelall didn't actually have a turned down flange the way I've put on the other side. I just apparently added that because I thought it would be nice. I don't know. Anyway, because I do have a turn down over there on that side, right there, I'm going to add one over here anyway. So since I have to replace this piece here because of rust, I am just going to go ahead and make it long enough to provide me with a turn down to finish off that corner. In order to fix the rust that's right here, I'm going to try something I've seen some other guys on YouTube doing. Let's see how this goes. First time I've ever tried it. That didn't work. I've heard it takes practice. Let me try it again. Nope, still nothing. Alright, let me try this one more time. Well, that was a little better. We knocked a hole into it, and we've got a piece that's pretty much ready to go in there. Alright, we're going to keep at this. I'll figure it out. Attempt number 4. Alright! Well, it's not perfect, but hey, we got it installed. What am I going to do about body working this all, though? Like, how am I supposed to fix that? Alright, I'm going to try something a little different. If we need body work, I'm going to throw a body hammer at it. Hey. Nice! Alright, we've got that fully installed. Looks like it's ground back pretty well. Sweet! Throw a couple of sticks of metal and a hammer at something and you got yourself a rust repair. This just in! I hate these wheel wells. Quick update. I've just been trying to burn through this thing because seriously, this is a hump. I'm tired of working on these wheel wells. I just got to get through it, trying to push past it. So you can see we've got the fender, what will become the inner lip there. It'll have to be cut at this line, but we've got that. And then made up multiple other pieces. All that stuff's welded together, though it does need to be cleaned back. And over here, we've started. We've got the first piece. Somewhere down in that mess is the curvy bit. And hey, right there. There is the bit that will become the side of it. So, we've got all those bits. I've got most of everything I need to finish putting it together, and I am just going to buckle down and crank through it. I am really hoping that I will just have this crap done tonight, because I am seriously sick of it and really, really, really want to move on to some other stuff. So hopefully with this wheel well finished tonight, that means I can start getting this installed soon, and maybe over the next few days as I continue working on this and filming, I can get the passenger side finished to the point of the driver's side, and we can move on to some new stuff, because we've been hanging up on this garbage for a while. Thanks, guys.